could you imagine right now being in a big city and just being quarantined in an apartment or in a city with, that is just on top of each other? So I can understand why people are looking for options right now of where to go that maybe are a better option for where they currently are. This morning on the news, one of the comments that was made was that more people want to move now than ever. Hello, everybody. It's Kanoa and Lui from Baja123.com in beautiful Rosarito Beach, Mexico. Good morning, Lui.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, Lui, actually, we wanted to do this video this morning to tell people and give them a market update on the real estate and what's happening in our area. And actually, we're pretty surprised about some of the things that we're going to share with people this morning. And that's why we thought it was important to get on here and do a video to share with people what's happening, because we weren't predicting what would be happening with our real estate. And so we thought, hey, let's do this video. Let's give them a market update, because I'm sure there's people that are buying and selling or wanting to buy and sell in Rosarito right now. And let's share with them and tell them what's happening so they can make some good decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, the way that things are going, I was not expecting for sure. Some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, to me was surprising. So I'm excited to share with you this morning. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
I think what surprised us the most is back in 2008, when we had the financial crisis, and how the market responded and reacted to that financial crisis was kind of maybe a little bit of what we were expecting again. And that didn't happen,
Right.
or at least it hasn't happened yet. So back in 2008, I think within a very short period of time, we saw the activity go down dramatically. We saw the pipeline go down dramatically. We saw a lot of people backing out of their purchases, no new activity coming in. And so that was kind of like what we were going, wow, are we going to get ready to go through that again? Right. And so that's kind of what we're preparing for.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is a different time. We weren't expecting the results that we're getting right now. And once again, the only point in time that we could compare to was back in 2008, 2012, when the market hit its lowest.
And I think back then, as I was kind of looking at everything that's going on, trying to make sense of all this craziness that's happening, and I'm realizing, well, back in 2008, that was really a housing crisis, right? Right now we're in a health crisis, right? It's not a housing crisis, at least not yet, and we're hoping that it doesn't get to that. But back then, we had a ton of construction going on. There was a ton of inventory, and then all of a sudden, everybody stopped looking at going to Mexico. For multiple reasons that was happening in Mexico. They just stopped, and the activity just turned off, and it turned off really quickly. And we were expecting that once again to happen here, and that really isn't what's going on. And that's what we want to share with people of going, our prediction of what was happening didn't happen, and let's share with you some information of why we think that's happening.
Okay, so there is this one article that we were reading, and I think it's very interesting. And it talks about home values appreciation or depreciation in regards to 2020 because of the pandemic that's happening. And it's some interesting information, Kanoa.
So this article that we're pulling up right now is from Keeping Current Matters. It's a real estate publication that talks mostly about what's going on in the U.S. market. And for us, we like to keep our eye on the U.S. market because it does affect us here in Rosarito Beach. Usually we're a month or so behind of what's happening over there, but we like to see what's going on, and we keep our eye on this publication. Now, this publication is shared to us by our real estate coach, Tom Ferry, and we were actually on a call with them. And Tom Ferry is one of the #1 real estate coaches around the world, and he brings together some of the best and brightest real estate agents from all around the world, and we're able to share thoughts and opinions and collaborate on what's going on. And once again, it just reinforces what we're going to share with you, some of the things that his agents and his coaches are talking about what they're seeing in the real estate market as of right now. And the question right now is, this article are home prices going to go up, or are they going to go down? And so I guess that would all depend, and this is going to talk about the supply and demand. So, I mean, how's the supply and how's the demand? It said in this article, it says their latest edition sheds some light on the relationship between seller traffic, the supply, and the buyer traffic, the demand, during this pandemic. And this is coming from the Realtors Confidence Index. So what we're looking at right here on this graph or on this slide is the buyer traffic index. So if you can see over here, it says the buyer traffic, and it's got week in gray, stable in kind of like a lighter blue, and the darker blue are strong. And you can see there's no gray on this map right now, huh, Louis? We're not seeing any parts that are gray.
Exactly. This is basically telling us what the buyer traffic of the United States is as of May or April, and I guess the whole month of April, between April and May. And it really shows something interesting. I'm going to read you what the bottom says. The darker the blue, the stronger the demand for homes is in that area. The survey shows that in 34 of the 50 U.S. states, buyer demand is now strong, and 16 of the 50 states have a stable demand.
So, I mean, that's some pretty surprising information. We would think right now that there wouldn't be a lot of this going on in the U.S. And I think this is kind of, once again, like we're saying, is why we're not experiencing it here either. So there's a big buyer demand in the U.S. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And here's the seller supply. And I think this is the reason. This is one of the reasons. And once again, we've got over on the corner there, it says seller traffic. It says, how would you rate seller traffic in your area? And go ahead, Louis, explain this slide.
So as the map above indicates, 46 states and Washington, D.C. reported weak seller traffic. 3 states reported stable seller traffic, and 1 state reported strong seller traffic. This means that there are far fewer homes on the market than what is needed to satisfy the needs of buyers looking for homes right now.
So I think this is, once again, we're looking at the supply. There's not a big supply of homes that are being sold. And this is probably a lot to do that there hasn't been a lot of construction since 2008 and, since the financial crisis or Great Recession,
right?
And not like it was prior to that.
And it's important to know that these stats are actually coming from NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors.
Yeah. So, and I think that the same thing is going on in Rosarito. We haven't had a lot of construction here. So that's why we're probably seeing some of the information that we're seeing. So go ahead and go down.
Exactly. So I'm going to read you what the experts are saying according to this article. Ivy Zellman is saying, we note that the inventory as a percent of household sits at the lowest level ever, something we believe will limit the overall degree of home price pressure through the year. Mark Fleming, which is the chief economist at First American, says, housing supply remains at historically low levels, so house price growth is likely to slow, but is not likely to go negative. And to end, Freddie Mac says, 2 forces prevent the collapse in house prices. First, as we indicated in our earlier research report, U.S. housing markets face a large supply deficit. Second, population growth and pent-up household formations provide a tailwind of housing demand.
How interesting is that? So I think that is some of the reason that we're experiencing what we're experiencing, and our, I guess, concern that there was going to be this immediate slowdown and everything. It didn't happen. We did start seeing a slowdown when this crisis started. As soon as people started seeing this for, I guess, what it is, they started, once again, the activity started up again. So I think people wanted to see if this was real and how long this was going to last and what was going on. And I think the whole world just kind of stopped and took a pause, and nobody was moving for about a month. And then all of a sudden, now as the reality is starting to set in of what's happening, I think people are looking for options right now. And in Rosarito, I believe the reason that we're going to go into later on is some of the information is that they're looking at Rosarito is because could you imagine right now being in a big city and just being quarantined in an apartment or in a city with, that is just on top of each other. So I can understand why people are looking for options right now of where to go that maybe are a better option for where they currently are. This morning on the news, one of the comments that was made was that more people want to move now than ever. So more people are looking to move from where they are. And I can't blame them once again. I mean, especially the people in the big cities, right? I couldn't imagine being in those big cities with all those people. What's this world going to look like? What are they going to come out of, and how are they going to interact and socialize, and what's going to happen? And to be in those big cities and not have, and maybe have lost your job, or to be in a financial situation where you've got a lot of overhead or cost of living, I can see why people are looking for options and wanting to move to something maybe a little bit more simple and maybe not so condensed.
Exactly. If you're going to be in self-quarantine, wouldn't you rather be in front of the ocean, enjoying the views?
Well, that's, I guess, I think why we're going to go into our next slide is what's happening with us here at Baja123.com is here's what we're looking on the slide is the total impressions. Now, what the impressions, go ahead and explain impressions, Louis.
So basically what impressions means is how many times we have appeared in the Google search results. So as people are searching for certain keywords regarding Mexico real estate, Rosarito real estate, Baja real estate, our website is starting to show up in the results. And this is the amount of results or impressions that we received between January 1st of 2020 to May 6, 2020, which if you can see up in the purple square above, you can see that we had 1.9 million impressions.
This is for our one website. We have multiple websites and social media accounts. This is just, we're showing you the stats on our main website. And what was surprising to see the amount of impressions that we were getting and how many people are searching for in the last 120 days, once again, from January to May.
Exactly. No, I was going to say, we have two lines that you can see in the report right now. The dotted line means that this is a report comparison from 2019, roughly around the same period of time, compared to 2020, which is the solid line.
So last year, for this year's activity and the people looking, there's a lot more people looking this year than there was last year. And once again, what's really surprising to us is they're looking through this crisis that we're having. There's a lot of people looking at Rosarito and obviously Baja and the other areas we cover. We cover mainly our specialty is the coastline from Tijuana to Ensenada, the Oceanfront and Ocean View homes. That's mainly our clients and our audience that are looking to move to be next to the ocean.
Yeah, and you can see that there was a huge spike somewhere around April, or probably at the end of March and beginning of April, to where people were looking for options.
Yeah, so go ahead and go to the next slide, Louis. So here's what I'm sharing with you is our internal stats. These are reports that we get from our real estate websites. This is two of our sites that I'm sharing with you. Once again, this is not all of the places, but I just thought this was pretty interesting. Here's our report for, this is 1 week of activity on two of our websites. Now go ahead and go to the next slide, Louis. If you look at this, this is our main website, which is baja123.com. You look, what you're looking at is the change from 1 week. So on our unique visits, we went up 1,270 unique visits, up to 7,259 for that week. Our page views went up almost 8,000 to 37,000 page views just for that week.
Our listing views went up 2,000, so from 7,351 that we received. And the listing views, which actually are views from all of the listings that we have available on our website, went up 4,700.
And for that week, we created 48 new prospects. And if you're looking at the other part of this chart, this is the top 10, top 100, top 1,000. Now, they're comparing us to the websites all around the world. So I don't know exactly how many websites Point2 has right now. A couple of years ago, they had about 400,000, I thought, somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 websites globally. And right now, you can see we are more than doubling the traffic of the top 10 websites for Point2 for all around the world in traffic. So there's a lot of people looking at Baja right now.
Exactly.
Our leads have not slowed down either. We're getting an incredible amount of people that are looking at moving down here, like we're saying, and they are leaving their information, they're inquiring. And I wanted to share with you guys what's going on with the leads, which we consider a lead as somebody that wants to move down here, that's inquiring to move to Rosarito, specifically in our area. We do not hand out a lead to our agents unless somebody says, yes, I want to move to Rosarito or the Rosarito area, and they're telling us how much they want to buy, and they want to buy an oceanfront and ocean view property. That's what we consider as a lead that we give to our agents. And depending on how soon they want to move, we classify those leads. Go ahead and open up the lead chart, Louis.
Okay.
We classify those leads as buyers, sellers, or renters, and then we prioritize them as A, B, or C, depending on the urgency that our lead department decides what's going on. Go a little slower there, Louis, on that. So if you can see over on the source side, we've got different places that these leads are coming in. They're coming in from the websites, from Facebook, they're calling in. They're coming in from the different websites. You can see right now, we're looking at just January's leads. So he's scrolling down. If you look at the date right now, he's scrolling down just through the leads that we've received for January. And keep going down. I just want to show people how many leads that are coming in. And you can see a majority of them are for buyers. We're still in January right now. Keep going, Louis. Keep going. We're still in January. Go ahead, go a little faster so we don't keep people here all day. So now we're in February. And these are all the leads that are coming in for February. Now we're in March. Now we're keep going down. Now we're in April, and you can see there's just an incredible amount of leads. Part of the thing that we were thinking, the management here with us, is that we know that a lot of people are at home right now. They probably don't have a lot of things to do. So a lot of them are online. They're finding us online and they're considering moving. And so that's one of the things that I found very interesting, is that people are thinking about coming to Mexico. And there's a lot of people that are thinking about this as that option. And I think this is what's affecting our area as far as we haven't seen a big decrease in prices for our properties right now. And people coming in thinking that they're going to lowball and put in really low offers, and they're just not getting the responses. I think we see maybe about a 3%, decrease in the prices right now, but not anywhere near to what we would have expected in property values going down. And I believe that, once again, is because of the supply and the demand. So we've got a lot of people looking. People are still closing. We got closings that are happening right now. We've got activity that's going on. Our agents have implemented safety protocols on their showings, and so they're still showing property. And so I just want to share with people that as of now, we're not seeing a big change in the market condition as far as prices go, because I do believe there is not a lot of inventory along the coastline, and right now we've got a big demand.
Exactly. One of the things I want to point out is the difference between the buyers and the sellers and renters. You can see that there's a lot of activity for buyers. This is year to date as of May 8, and what I'm showing you on the screen, but the activity is there, especially from buyers.
Yeah, so one of the things also too, Louis, I want to point out is that I do believe that we're starting to see an increase in the renter traffic. And this is something I want to share with everybody, is that this is not our typical renter traffic for our area. Our area, normally we're a tourism town and we see a lot of vacation rentals. And we obviously are not seeing a lot of vacation people wanting to come down here for vacation right now for the obvious reasons. But we are seeing is people wanting to come down here long term. So the long-term rental traffic is starting to increase. People wanting to move down here permanently and are looking for renters. One of the things that I think we need to point out is that there's been a lot of Airbnb activity. Obviously, all around the world, Airbnb has been a big source of income for a lot of people around the world. And there's quite a few people out there that have purchased Airbnb units. And we think that we don't know what's going to happen with that business. We know that right now, those people that were relying on that income are probably not getting that. So they're going to have to make a choice of either converting that to a longer term rental or probably selling some of those properties. So those rental properties that were Airbnbs are probably going to open up for longer term rentals, and or could be also be put on the market as people aren't getting that income for those vacation rentals.
Absolutely.
Anything else that we're going to share with this people this morning for the market update for May 2020?
Well, so far it's been an interesting ride. I mean, I don't think we were expecting this much activity during the month of between April and May. I have a regular meeting with our lead department management team, and they're also surprised. The phones won't stop ringing. There's a lot of people asking a lot of questions. The top most asked question is obviously, can they come down? Is the border open? Can they go across the border back to the United States? And so we try to keep you guys updated with some border update videos as well. So
yeah, I think that's a good point, Louis. Most people are concerned about the border, and for right now, there's been a lot of traffic actually at the border, a lot of people crossing, going back and forth. One of the benefits of where we are is that we are close enough to the border, is that people can get to their medical services in the U.S. and yet still be able to come and experience a good oceanfront, ocean view lifestyle at a discount compared to the U.S. So I think that some of those other places like Cabo and Cancun and Puerto Vallarta, that they have to catch flights.
Right.
I think it's going to be a lot more challenging right now for people that need to fly from the different places in Mexico to get back to the U.S., where we are within a driving distance.
Exactly.
Then get over to the U.S. And we don't anticipate there ever being a border closing. There can be restrictions, but I don't think that the border can, close, can stop U.S. citizens or permanent residents from coming into the U.S. They probably can quarantine them for a while, but we don't think that they can actually stop entry to any U.S. citizen. So we don't anticipate any border closings.
And we've got a few closings happening this month. So hopefully, upload the video editor to share some of the images from our most recent closings. But they have been closings. People are still coming down, are still going through their transactions as normal, and obviously with the precautions and keeping their self-distance and so forth. But there have been some successful closings, so we want to share some of those images as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be switching to more of a technology-based environment, I think, and so we're adjusting, we're switching, we're coming up with how are we going to be able to do some of these closings in a way that we can limit distancing and keep everybody safe. And we're coming up with all that stuff really quickly, and we're having closings and we're having activity. And I think as we adjust, because that's what we do, is we adapt, and we'll adapt quickly. And we'll see, what this world looks like as we come out of this. And hopefully next month we can give you another market update, and we'll keep. I'm hoping to have good news for people, especially our residents in Rosarito and everybody that's wanting to come down here and be a part of our community.
Exactly. Keep your fingers crossed that we can go back to normal. Although the new normal is going to be a brand new idea, brand new concept.
I'm going to ask you guys, if you got anything out of this video, please share it with anybody that you would feel this information would be helpful. Subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment if you have any questions. If there's anything that we didn't cover you'd like us to cover next time, put it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to get to any questions that people have. Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you, Louis, so much for being here and doing this with us, and we'll see you guys later.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.